What's up guys, Diego here from ProNDC. Welcome to another ESO build video. Today I want to show you the Stamina Nightblade for Morrowind. So I'm really happy with the results of my tests from Stamina Nightblade. I'm here on the PTS because I don't have Stamina Nightblade on the live server right now. After these tests, I'm not sure if I should switch my Magic Nightblade back to Stamina because it used to be Stamina Nightblade. And it has like almost all the weapon stuff leveled. I just need caltrops on that character, or maybe I will just level a new one. Who knows? I'm not sure yet. Anyway, I did a lot of testing here on PTS on the target skeletons, and yeah, this is like the first build video that I put out that I didn't test in a trial. However, stamina playstyle is not too different. I played my Stamina Templar on PC in the Morrowind update, and I played Stamblade, Stamsorg, Stamplar, and at some point Stamdk in different trials on PS4. So stamina playstyle is not that different, and the survivability is really good right now because of Deathly Cloak, but I will get to that when I talk about skills. So you can trust me, this will work in trials, and it works pretty damn good. I gotta thank at this point Jackal, because I played a little bit of a different rotation and I changed to his rotation. I was not sure like how I should optimize my rotation or what I should change, and I gave it some thought, and there's one set that I only have active on the front bar. And with the different rotation, I spent more time on the back bar, which wasn't that great. So I got some better results. I was able to gain 2k DPS on the target skeleton, but I will get to that when I talk about skills. Anyway, Jackal made a really detailed written guide on Tamriel Foundry. So if you want to check it out, the link to that on Tamriel Foundry is in the video description. I highly recommend to check it out. There's probably a lot of information that might be interesting for you guys that I don't include here in the video. But enough of the talking about written guides and all that stuff. Let's start with the stats first. So I have 2 points into health, because otherwise my health would be like at 16.5k. I would try to get to like close to 17k, but like 10 in HP, like screw that. Who needs that? You can put all points into health. I have a little bit less health, of course, in the back bar because I don't have a shadow ability here, but it's still okay, trust me. Like I played on my Stamplar with 16.8k health, and we didn't have Ebon Armory active, and it still worked. So if you get your Warhorn, you're still sitting at above 18k, and you should be fine. You can put all points to stamina. You could even go like 6-1 if you want to, but I'm wearing 7 medium to get more crit on the Stamina Nightblade, which is more beneficial. And yeah, I have just a little bit less than 3k weapon damage, 8.5k stam recovery, and about 75% weapon crit with Thief Wonderstone and max health and max stamina food. Fully buffed, my stats look like this. So I have 1000 stamina recovery, about 3.4k weapon damage, and 84% weapon crit, which will also be a little bit higher now. So it's 87.6%, and my weapon damage is at almost 3.9k. And of course you have other buffs like Spell Procure that also add up to that, which is pretty nice. That's the main bar. On the back bar we're at 73.5% and 3.1k weapon damage. And yeah, that's pretty much it for stats. For gear, I'm currently using Croc. So why Croc? Like not a lot of people use Croc anymore. They switch to Velidreth. Even Selene would be an option. Like Velidreth gives you a little more weapon damage and gives you these disease spores that deal extra damage for AoE DPS. Velidreth is superior. I don't have Croc on the live server as well. I just don't have the luck to get a Divine's Helmet in medium for some reason. But it's pretty easy to farm. You can get it in Fungal Grotto 1. You can skip, like, I think like after the second boss, you can skip all the other bosses. So you only have to do first boss, second boss, and last boss. And those fights are pretty easy. You don't need to do hard mode to get the helmet. You will get a guaranteed helm drop. So just grab 3 friends, kill the 3 bosses, and farm that helmet. It's pretty easy to get that. Veldreath is a little bit harder to farm. It's from Cradle of Shadows. But you could also use that, of course. I use Krog because I have extra physical penetration. And when I deal damage, I get the chance to get these Drew limbs that deal extra damage every 0.4 seconds and that can proc every 3 seconds. And single target wise, this set, I like it really much. I don't have 2 sharpened weapons here, so I get the extra penetration from my monster set. And I had the best results with Krog. Another set that gives me penetration is Two-Fanged Snake, or the Twice-Fanged Serpent set. So I have all gold jewelry, all weapon damage, and 2 Divine's body pieces. Of course, everything enchanted with stamina. I get 1k penetration with 5-piece bonus. The other bonuses are, of course, like the full stamina shebang, like weapon damage, max stam, and weapon crit, which is really nice. And then 1k penetration for 3 seconds, that stacks up to 5 times. And you can have that set bonus active like almost the entire fight, which is pretty damn good. You can get this set in Sanctum Fidia, the gold jewelry only in veteran mode. That doesn't need to be hard mode, but you get 2 jewelry pieces if you complete the hard mode. It's not that hard, actually. If you don't have a Trials team and do not want to farm it and you only play dungeons, there is an alternative, which is called Spriggan's Thorns. So Spriggan's, you can get jewelry in purple. You can buy that stuff and you can farm it. And I think it's in Bankurai or Alik'r Desert. I think it's, I'm not sure, either Bankurai or Alik'r Desert, one of those 2. It should be. Maybe it's even a different location. I don't know. I forgot. Like, it's been a while since I farmed it. I farmed that set when 1.10 came out, so it's been a while. But you can just buy it at the guild vendor. It gives you max stam 2 times, weapon damage, and 3.8k physical penetration. So it's like comparable, not quite, because crit would be better than 2 times max stam, but you get, if you have it on gold on your body, you have 4k penetration, so it's not that far off. It's a little bit weaker, but not really like super weak. And you can get jewelry from it. So if you just run dungeons, or yeah, if you just run dungeons, you could use that. Another set that you could also use is, I'm not sure, do I have it here? VO Vicious Ophidian. Oh, I think I have it here. Let me, where's controls? Interaction, inventory inside. So Vicious Ophidian. So we have it here. So you could wear 3 jewelry pieces. You can add that from all Cracklorn trials. So Helra, Sanctum Ophidia, and Ethereal Archive. Gives you weapon critical 2 times, which is really good for Nightblade, of course. Then Minor Slayer, 5% more damage. Except for your execute, but we'll talk about that when I get to skills. And reduces the cost of your stamina abilities by 8%. And when you kill an enemy, you restore extra stamina. And you get some extra weapon damage. So this is also pretty nice, but not, in my opinion, not as strong as Twice-Fanged Serpent. You could also wear, if you have the weapons, you can also wear 5 Vicious Ophidian with 5 Twice-Fanged Serpent if you want to. But that's a little bit hard to grind, so like, or to farm. Vicious Ophidian weapons are really hard to get. I instead use the same setup that I use on my Stamina Templar, and that's Hunting's Rage. So I have 3 pieces of Hunting's Rage in my body in Divines. So I get weapon crit, max stam, weapon crit, and 300 weapon damage. And I have a sharpened dagger with a weapon damage enchantment, and an infused dagger with a poison damage enchantment. I have infused in my main hand. It's important that you have it there. And I have the poison damage enchantment on my infused weapon. So apparently, like from the testings that I've done, the poison damage enchantment was just stronger than the weapon damage enchantment. Like I had a couple of different enchantments in my inventory. Like I don't have them, right now anymore. Anyways, I swapped around the enchantments a couple times, and I had the best results with the poison damage enchantment on the infused weapon, and the infused weapon on the main hand. I will show you the reason for that in a couple seconds. I will just talk about the Maelstrom Bow now. So Maelstrom Bow, this is an insane weapon. You need to have the Maelstrom Bow. I'm really sorry guys, if you want to play stamina and want to do a lot of DPS, you need to farm VMA. Maelstrom Arena is a pain in the ass for a lot of people, but the Maelstrom Bow is just so fucking strong, you need to get it. And Sharpen is the best trait, because you will, like for ground AoEs, you take the penetration from the bar you casted the ability on. So Maelstrom weapon, it will take the weapon damage from the front bar, but you will have the penetration from the back bar. So everything else in Sharpened is a DPS loss. But still, the Maelstrom Bow itself is so strong that you can just use a precise weapon, an infused, or a Nirnhound bow. If you don't have any of these traits, you can go with the Master's Bow, which you can get in the Dragonstar arena. This will give you more weapon damage if you put a poison injection on target, which is pretty nice. And if you don't have a Master's Bow, go with the Hunting's Rage Bow. Like, if you use Hunting's Rage, go with the Hunting's Rage Bow and Sharpened and put a Diseased enchantment on that. And you should also be good to go. For the front bar, there's a different set that I would like to get, but I cannot properly test it. I have an infused dagger on the live server, but I'm still missing the sharpened dagger and some other pieces and divines. And that's the War Machine set that you can see here. It gives you max stam, minor slayer, and weapon damage, so pretty much like the basic stuff. And when you activate an ultimate ability, you and my two closest allies get Major Slayer, so that's 15% more damage for 10 seconds. And we can have an uptime of more than 50% on the Nightblade of that set bonus. This is so strong. It's really, really strong, trust me. Because Nightblade gets a lot of ultimate, like you get 20 ultimate for drinking a potion, so that's really, really good. And we can like spam this ultimate so much. So if you had like two War Machine daggers on the front bar, we just use the ultimate on the front bar as much as possible. Yeah, that's pretty much it for sets. So these are the sets that I recommend. Let's talk about skills now. So we start with the front bar. Surprise attack. Really good spammable, gives us major fracture, or gives the enemy major fracture, so we don't need a tank to do our target skeleton test. We can just do it ourselves because of major fracture. Then we have rending slashes. It's not as effective as it used to be. Like back then, when monster sets were still able to crit, most of the people use Twiceborn Star. And the thing about Twiceborn Star is you can use 2 Munda Stones. And the Shadow Munda Stone increased our crit damage by, I think, like 18.3% if you had like 7 pieces in Divines and Legendary. And we didn't use Twice-Fanged Serpent because there's so many, or like because we didn't use Twice-Fanged Serpent, there's so many resistances left on the bosses or any other target. And the thing about bleeding damage is that it ignores resistances, so that's really strong. So just imagine we have 5k less penetration because we use Twiceborn Star, we have 18.3% more crit damage, and we have abilities that ignore resistances. So rending slashes was really strong back then. What was even stronger were axes. I'm not sure, do I have Battle Axe, like axes, like VMA axe. This was really popular. You can still use axes, like if you have Hunting's Rage axe or a War Machine axe and Sharpen, you can use it. An axe will give you an additional 8%. Or is it Twin Blade and Blunt? Yeah, here. An additional 8% chance to proc bleeding damage for 10k over 6 seconds, so it's a really strong dot, and it used to tick for almost 20k per tick back then. But now it's not as beneficial anymore because we reduce the resistances and ignore so many resistances of the enemy that I do not like really recommend to go with an axe anymore. Like, I just have far better results with 2 daggers, and I get more crit, which is also really pretty good on the Nightblade. Then we have Relentless Focus, so we get minor endurance and minor berserk, which is really nice. So 8% more damage, 10% more stem recovery, and when we do 5 light or heavy attacks, we can charge like the Assassin's Scourge and shoot it. We don't need to recast it. Like for every 5 attacks after we shoot the bow, we can just shoot another one again, and we need to recast it only 20 seconds. So this is really great. Then we have our Killer's Blade. This is our execute. And Killer's Blade deals extra damage when the target is at 25% health or lower. But the thing is, Minor and Major Slayer don't multiply with the complete damage. So it's not like you deal your 4.2k disease base damage and get 300% more damage, and after that then multiply it with 1.05 to get the extra damage from Minor Slayer. No, you have your 4.2k base damage and you multiply it with 305%. So it's like the actual damage, the extra damage that you get from Minor Slayer is actually only about 1.25%. And same of course goes with Major Slayer, so it's not that really beneficial during execute phase, but that's like basically the only skill that does not get buffed by as much on your stem blade, so you can still use War Machine. It's pretty good, and you buff two group members a lot of times. Then we have Deadly Cloak. So Deadly Cloak is great AoE damage, but the really important thing about this skill is that you get a 25% AoE damage reduction. So you take far less damage, and I had such an easy time to survive in a trial because of Deadly Cloak on a stamina character. It's so strong, trust me, you need to have this. And we have In-Cap Strike here. So I used to have it on my back bar, and I put it on the front bar, and I, of course, because of pressure points, I get some extra weapon crit because I have it here, and that's really great. And I watched Jackal's DPS test video, and then it got me thinking, hey, why am I so stupid to put it on the back bar? I will get to that when I talk about rotations, because it has something to do with the set combination that I'm using. On the back bar I have the Flawless Dawnbreaker, which I used to have on my front bar. Then I have my Caltrops, really strong dot, last 12 seconds, you need to have that down all the time, especially in AoE fights, it's really strong. Then we have Leeching Strikes. This is like a flexible spot, you can swap out this skill if you want to and put in other skills, but during long fights this is actually pretty nice because every 20 seconds you get back 4.2k stamina, and that's really good for sustain. Then we have our Rearmoring Trap. This gives us minor force, so 10% more crit damage, and we have so much crit. Like you saw, I have like 87% crit, so much crit on the front bar that the extra 10% crit damage is really, really strong. Poison Injection, really good dot, and gets insanely strong at 50% health or less, up to 260% more damage. So the lower the target is, the more damage you do with this ability. Is insane. I will show it afterwards. Then we have your Endless Hail here from the bow bar, and of course this activates the Maelstrom Bow. For passive just go with all class passives and all weapon passives, of course, and of course all your medium armor passives to get more crit rating, to get more recovery and cost reduction and all that stuff, and of course more weapon damage. For fighter skills, go with Slayer and Intimidating Presence to reduce the cost of our trap, and then Banish the Wicked to get ultimate whenever you kill Undead or Daedra. We need the Undaunted passives, of course, the Racial passives, and Alchemy passives because of medicinal use. We use potions, weapon power potions. These have a cooldown of 45 seconds, and the duration of our effects because of medicinal use are 47.6 seconds. I don't know like the names of the ingredients here in English. I'm sorry, so I can't tell you how to craft these potions. But you can just go to a guild vendor and buy them if you want to. They're actually pretty cheap. So that's pretty much it for skills. Yeah, we'll just talk about that now. So what I changed, like when I watched Jackal's rotation, what I changed was the ultimates. The reason for that is pretty simple. I have 5 pieces of hunting rage on the front bar, but only on the front bar, so I lose a lot of weapon damage here. As you can see, I lose at least 300 weapon damage here, even though I have my VMA bow on the back bar. So I have my Endless Hail, my Beast Trap, my Poison Injection, my Caltrops, and even my Leeching Stripes if I need them, and my ultimate on the back bar. So I cast, if I need to cast every ability, I cast up to 6 abilities on my back bar. And during that time, I don't have the weapon damage buff from Hunting's Rage, and I also, because of my infused weapon, which has a cooldown that's so low that it procs like every 4 seconds, I don't make use of that. So I want to spend less time on the back bar and try to, and that's why I put my in-cap strike on the front bar. So also for the infused weapon poison damage. So just have a look at Hail here right now. So you can see 1 damage number every 0.5 seconds, and that's only Endless Hail. But however, when I switch to my front bar, you will see a different damage number. Should be 5,877. That's the poison damage enchantment if it crits. It's like 3,300 if it doesn't crit. I can see it now, 5,877. 5,877. So basically every 4 seconds, like around every 4 seconds, my enchantment procs by itself. And you can see it also activated poisoned, so it's an extra dot. 538 extra dot damage. And yeah, I didn't use any light attacks, I didn't use any abilities, and still it proc my enchantment. It's just like that. I actually don't know why, but that's the reason why I have my infused weapon on my main bar and my poison damage enchantment on the infused weapon instead of my weapon damage enchantment. I just got better results. I switched the enchantments around a couple times. I'm not sure if I have any glyphs here. Yeah, I have some glyphs here apparently. But I switched around a couple times to test, and infused with poison damage was just stronger. And I did more than 2.5k of my overall DPS just with the poison damage enchantment, which is really strong. Yeah, that's I'm not sure. Champion points already? No, we'll just talk about rotation first. So, how does your rotation work? It's pretty simple. I buff up with my my skills before the fight. So, what I would start would be Leeching Strikes, then my my Deadly Cloak, and then my Relentless Focus. And what you then do is your Trap, Light Attack Trap, Light Attack Endless Hail, Light Attack Caltrops, and then Light Attack Poison Injection. And the reason for that is pretty simple. I will just put my dots away, not that the target skeleton dies. So just look at my Poison Injection. So Poison Injection crits if my enemy is below 50%. Like now he's at 28 for 9.1k. But I want to have most of my, or 9.2k right now. I want to have most of my poison injection ticks on the front bar. So, for example, let's imagine I just start with my poison injection, then reapply all my other dots, which is like completely stupid. I'd have a lot of poison injection ticks on the back bar instead of my front bar, where I get more crit, more weapon damage, and all that stuff. So what you do is you put down your trap. Yeah, your trap, your hail, your caltrops, then poison injection into a bar swap. Because now you can see 4.9 non-crit, 8.8 crit, 8.8 crit, compared to 8.4. So it's 400 damage that I get, 400 of extra damage that I get. That was even without minor force. So if I have my minor force up, it's 9.4 on the back bar and 9.9 on the front bar. So it gets even more the higher your crit modifier is, and it's even stronger when you use your in-cap strike. So again, back bar rotation is trap, hail, caltrops, and then poison injection into bar swap. Front bar, however, looks like this. So I would start with rending slashes, your deadly cloak, and then light attack, spam your surprise attack as much as possible until your bow procs, and then you shoot it. When you see that your minor berserk is about to run out, you just recast it and go on. Wait, let me just go to the skeleton out there because this one is about to die, and we'll just show how it looks in execute phase. So, like before the fight, it will look like this. I buff myself up. I put down my trap. Light attack hail, light attack caltrops, light attack poison injection, light attack rending slashes, and then I'd shoot it. When my endless hail is at about 2 seconds, I bar swap and put down my trap again, my hail again. So when my hail runs out, I just reapply it. That's pretty much the whole trick behind rotation. It's pretty simple. And of course you use your ultimate whenever it's ready on the front bar for execute phase. Also pretty simple. When my dots run out and the target skeleton is not like still has like a brown, or my enemy has a lot of health left, I still reapply my dots. So my endless hail, my poison reaction, they should never run out. What you do in execute is, of course, when you have your ultimate ready, is use your in-cap strike. So even like if just imagine it still had a lot of health left. Like that's how the execute would look in a fight. But before I will show you the DPS test that I did with this setup, I will talk about champion points first. So we have 20 points into Warlord, we have 20 points into Tumbling, 20 into Shadowboard, 75 Mooncalf, 75 Tenacity. Like pretty basic setup. I use that in all my classes, and Magic I just put 75 into Arcanist. Like that way I will hit all the jump points. Then I have 51 Ironclad, 2 Spell Shield, 49 Hardy, 49 Elemental Defender, 44 Thick Skinned, and 15 into Quick Recovery. Also pretty standard setup. Then for the blue tree, and that's the important tree, I have 64 points into Mighty, 27 into Piercing, 48 into Precise Strikes, 51 into Thaumaturge, and 20 points into Master at Arms. You could play around a little bit with Mighty, like you could drop your overall damage by 1% to 56 and put these 8 points into Master at Arms to get 3% more damage here. Like now it's 9, now it's 12%. But you don't boost all your abilities like that, because your hail will do 1% less damage, and you boost attacks like your poison ejection direct hit, your light and heavy attacks, your spectral bow here, and of course your Killer's Blade and your surprise attack. They do 3% more damage. I had the best results with 64 points into Mighty, and yeah, these are the CP that I use. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I will show you the DPS test now, and then I will be back after that and will show you the combat metrics parse. So see you in a couple secs. So that was the DPS test, guys. 46k self-buffed. Unfortunately, like, my game was set to German, that's why it saved the German names of the skills. So we have Endless Sail here. You can see just how insanely strong that skill is. 8.7k DPS. That's really huge. Then you have 4k DPS from my Caltrops. You can see from my crit rating, like 48%, 85%, like 75% overall, but that's just because of Croc, how often it proc. And like my max crit rating is at 87%. I have that all the time on the front bar, so this is pretty much in line. I did a lot of crits, like only one light attack did not crit, 96%, so that's like a lot higher. And then my poison injection had a lot of crits. I didn't use a lot of killer's blades and a lot of spectral bows here, or like assassin scourge. So I have a lot of crits, like 83% here and 100 here. So that's huge, to be honest. That's really huge. But only like one skill did not crit, and same for the surprise attack. You see that I didn't use a lot of surprise attacks in my rotation. I just tried to keep my dots up, and I still get a ton of DPS here. My Croc did 1.7k, which is a lot. Like, really, I never had 1.7k on Croc on the target skeleton. And then my poisonous weapon. So this is my weapon damage enchantment. Like, not my weapon damage enchantment, but my weapon enchantment. 2.5k. That's a lot. That's like really a lot. And then you have an additional 264 damage from poison, which most of the times also comes from your poison damage enchantment. So that's pretty huge. A lot of DPS, as you can see from that infused weapon. Anything else? Like Twice Fanged Serpent, of course, like 2 times is 100% active, 3 times 100%. And the 4k pen and 5k pen have 98 and 97% uptime. Minor Berserk uptime is 95%, so that's actually also something that I did pretty well. Hawkeye passive has a pretty decent uptime actually, and 4 times has a 31% uptime. I'm not sure if I can get that any higher, but my weapon damage enchantment, even though I only have it on my sharpened weapon, I still have a 53% uptime, which is pretty nice. Major Fracture only 76%, so if I had a tank with me that applied Major Fracture, I could have done more DPS. And yeah, the enemy was poisoned 61% of the time, so also pretty good here. But that's it, guys. That's Stamina Nightblade for the Morrowind update. I hope you will enjoy it as much as I do. I'm pretty sure that I will either race change my Nightblade back to Stamina. It used to be Stamina Nightblade. I just went with Magica because it made it easier with low champion points to farm VMA on PC, because some people don't know that I transferred back from PS4. Like, I started on PC, went to PS4, and then went back to PC. But I had no champion points on my PC account, so I needed to grind a lot of stuff. Like, Stamina Nightblade is so strong, I really want to play it so badly. And I might just go and race change, because I have all the weapon skill lines leveled and all the Undaunted leveled. I just need my Caltrops and then I'm pretty much good to go. Anyway, guys, like I said, I hope you will enjoy this setup in Trials. Make sure to check out the written guide by Jackal on Tamriel Foundry, and then also, if you don't want to miss any more ESO content on my channel, just hit that sub button, and if you like the video, just hit the like button. I'd really appreciate that. I hope to see you next time as well, so until then, bye bye.